People represent things to me. They're not personal. Each person is a kind of archetype which I manipulate to appear to be the archetype that I am thinking about, although most of the time they're not like that. They just appear like that. You have to sensitize yourself to the subtle clues, and there's very little on the outside that will tell you what the person is really like on the inside. This is a sort of general attitude in my work.
diCorcia is a really, really significant photographer. In fact, I'd say that he probably changed the way that we think about photography. There's an idea in relation to photography that what it does is it captures a moment of truth, that photography has a special and privileged relationship to the real. What you need to know about these photographs is that they operate to disrupt that completely.
I build these photographs. I don't really find them. I choose the place. I choose in different ways the subject matter, and then I try to put it together with lights and other what I would call dramatizing elements. And I think these dramatizing elements are what makes it seem like a narrative.
The way these photographs are made is really interesting. The artist will set up a lighting rig. He might even decide on the whole set, take a Polaroid with an assistant standing in for the person who will become the subject of the photograph, so that everything's already constructed in advance. Then the subject might enter the frame, either because they're chosen or because they walk into it accidentally. And what this really does is it blurs the lines between what's real and what's fictional, what's documentary, what the artist is in control of. This way of thinking about photography questions the fundamental premise that when you see a photograph, you're seeing the truth.
I was never really particularly comfortable photographing people, which may be why I developed the strategies that I use. Actually, I don't have to get to know the people very well. Sometimes I don't know them at all, or I never even speak to them. I never hold the camera to my face. It's almost always on a tripod at a position which would be not mine. I often make the image level and square to the camera. These are aspects that are similar to cinema. When people see them, I think they often associate it with cinema and therefore think that there is a narrative. Part of my program, let's say, was to try to point out that a person's interiority is very different than their exterior appearance, and to some degree, life is a performance. A person's interiority is very different than their exterior appearance, and to some degree, life is a performance.
I think that diCorcia is really interested in giving the viewer a great deal of authority over the meaning of the works. diCorcia sets up a relationship between the photographer and the sitter that isn't one that we're really used to. He's not interested in privileging this relationship. Instead, there's a kind of distance between the two. And this distance means that you, the viewer, can insert yourself in relation to that person.
I'm not exactly misanthropic, but the idea that you can manipulate people and the world is an interesting and compelling motivation for me.